Hey everybody, I have the full series of collectible minifigures from the LEGO Looney Tunes series, at least the first one. They might do another in the future, but let's get right into it, looking at these figures up close. Here on the left, obviously, is Bugs Bunny, and on the right, well, you'd be forgiven if you didn't recognize Lola Bunny, who is not from the classic Looney Tunes cartoons, but rather just Space Jam. And I think between these two, certainly Bugs Bunny is more recognizable, but Lola Bunny is a much more interesting looking character and more interesting looking figure here with a lot more color and vibrance. And yeah, it's a nice inclusion. It's also produced very well. Now, the general head shape is shared between the two. Obviously, it's not the same mold. But one thing that I don't like here is that just looking at Bugs Bunny, the cheeks and the nose and the mouth area just kind of looks inflated. Looks like it's a balloon. It doesn't have as much definition as I would like to see. I think the ears are done really well. The forehead is done well as I turn around the back here. The little tufts of hair, all that is nice. The printing on the back is just fine. It would have been much nicer to get an actual piece, a physical piece for that instead, for the tail. But overall, for how things were done, I think that the production work is good. Just, I think that the mold for the head is a little bit simple below the eyes. Well, this is very embarrassing for me, because on the right there is Marvin the Martian, minus the cloth piece that's supposed to go around his waist. You see, I was doing something else, and I was taking all of these out of their bags, and I was putting them together, and then I wasn't paying attention, and I forgot, and then I threw the bags away. I'm so sorry. So let me show you a picture of what Marvin the Martian is supposed to look like with that cloth piece on there. Yes, that's much better and much more complete. I am so sorry. But I can show you everything else in person here. And Daffy Duck on the left certainly looks excellent here. It's actually one of my favorite figures as far as how LEGO did the figure. The shaping of the head is great. The bill just has so much depth and so much character going all the way back into the cheeks. The printing for the eyes is really good. A little tuft of feathers on the top. Got the actual physical tail that's added on there, which is just a recolor to black of the Disney ones, but it works well. And then the dual molded legs, yes. I'm happy with this overall. And then that is a print. The sign, the rabbit season sign is a print. Very nice. Hopefully we'll get a duck season version of that as well. But yeah, I think that's done very well. I'm surprised with Marvin the Martian that this little bit right here, sorry, I'm not a historian, so I'm not going to Google that just to give you the word for it and make myself sound smart, because I'm not. I just don't know. But that piece is actually not removable. I'm surprised about that. It's dual molded, so you've got the bright green color for most of the helmet, and then the Keat orange color or flame yellowish orange color for the extension there. And then it's also printed on top of that with the cool yellow or light yellow color. I'm just surprised that it wasn't done as two completely separate pieces. And then here's the lime green color for the alien ray gun, and I'm also surprised that they didn't do that one with the newer mold, the second generation mold that they did for a previous CMF figure. The eyes for Marvin the Martian are not as white as they should be. The printing there is not all that great. Similarly for his feet there, the boots, they look kind of pink to me. They should be much whiter than that. Fortunately, none of that really bugs me too much because it doesn't stand out all that much, but could have been better, could have been better. Sylvester the Cat is another strong one, I think, with the production and shaping for the head. Again, there's a lot of depth there, and it's very sharp in how it's printed up. The tail is done very well. Just generally speaking, I think that is a well-done figure. Also gets the dual molded legs, and the printing there shows essentially no border. I mean, you can just barely see it if you look closely, but I mean, it's done really, 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 really well. Very clean all the way around. Tweety Bird, on the other hand, has a very, very good head, but the body is just so big. It just looks like a small person in a Tweety Bird outfit at a theme park or something like that. I'm actually okay with it. For some reason, that doesn't really bother me. For accuracy, they should have done Tweety as just a small single piece mold, that could be held in the hand of a regular minifigure. but I'm not mad at this. Personally, I'm not mad at it. I think that the production work here is also pretty good. And for how they translated it to minifig scale, I think it works out just fine. Would have been nice to get, again, a physical piece for the tail, though. That would have been nice. But otherwise here, I'm pretty happy with both of these. And the hammer is very large. It's kind of an extra accessory bonus. Here's another versus bird pairing with some questionable proportions and scaling. Let's start with Wile E. Coyote, though. On the left there, this also has a very good head. The shaping of the nose, the whole snout in particular, I think is good. And the shaping around the eyebrows is good. There's a lot of depth there that honestly did not need to be there, but I really appreciate the fact that it is there because you can see it, I think, probably more in person than you can see it on camera, and certainly more in 3D than you can just looking at a 2D picture of it. The anvil is something buildable. I will point out with this one, with Wile E. Coyote, that the printing for the torso is definitely too thin. You know, it's not opaque enough. You can see that it should be the same color as this up here. It should be that same tan, and it doesn't stand out to that degree. Similarly, up here, you know, that printing should match. This is print, but this is actually plastic. This is dual molded here, and I did not point that out over on Sylvester. It actually didn't bug me as much as I thought it would. You know, this one, the printing for the torso is definitely not as bright and white as it should be, but it stands out more to me on Wile E. Coyote. I think the choice of the tail piece is good. The head looks good around the back, and then the Roadrunner has excellent add-on pieces. The tuft, the crest up here, and then also the tail. Those are really nice pieces. The choice of medium blue for the tail there, I think, is good, and also for the torso. I think the head is shaped pretty well, but the neck is obviously, you know, much too short, and then the legs are just all bad. Completely wrong scale, and you know, just super far off, way off the mark. You know, just does not match that character at all. Those legs needed to be thin, and they needed to be bird-like to an extreme. You know, they just don't have that. The accessory for the Roadrunner there is supposed to be a bowl of seed that's been put out as a trap. So you've got, you know, something to be used against the Roadrunner. You got something to be used against Wile E. Coyote there. But yeah, overall, I feel like the one on the left is good. The one on the right is a miss. My opinion, though. Let me know what you think. Porky Pig. All right. Petunia Pig. We'll come back to that one. Porky Pig looks very, very good, except for the printing for the torso. Once again, it's just too thin, and, you know, it just lets too much of the blue come through. Other than that, though, the use of the medium legs is very nice. You know, the printing there for the hooves is sharp. The shaping for the head is good. You know, instead of printing the nostrils, they actually have some depth there, and it's the right amount of depth. There's just the right amount of shade and shadow that gets in there. It's really good. This headpiece is done exceptionally well. There's good shaping all the way around the back, and then, well, could have used a tail there, you know, instead. And here, interestingly, I am more bothered by the poor quality of printing on the back here, the poor opacity of printing on the back, than I am on the front, because I really want that little squiggly tail to look more real, you know. Of course, you can't do anything about the little border of blue between the torso and the legs, but yeah, just the color should have been done better. The sign is done great. I mean, that is solid. You know, it's done well. Petunia Pig. Okay, I talked about this when the pictures first came out. I am just personally biased against the depiction of that character. It looks creepy to me personally. I think that the production work done on this figure is just fine. Got the dual molded headpiece there, so they haven't just printed on the color, for example, of the hair. You know, that is consistent all the way through. They've just added on the red bows as some paint over the top, and that is fairly thick, fairly opaque. It's a little bit on the dark side, a little bit of the black comes through, but it's bright enough, I think. Other than that, dual molded arms there. She has a T set Does not use the exact same legs as Porky. There is actually printing, but you can see just a little bit of it. It would not be appropriate of me to show you the rest, but yeah, it's just there's a white hip piece underneath there. I'll just say that's that. Yeah, I just don't like how that figure looks. It creeps me out, and that's my problem, not theirs. Speedy Gonzales clearly includes one of the most important innovations in entertainment merchandise of all time. Printed cheese slope pieces that represent actual cheese. That is good. That is very good. And now I want more different colors and styles and everything. Like this is a very yellow Swiss here. I want some Havarti, I want some smaller holes, smaller bubbles with white. Just do all sorts of different things. Give us all sorts of different cheeses. Even give us wedges of blue cheese in the future. I'm down. This should be the beginning of an entire new series of printed cheese slope pieces. Beyond that, if I can get beyond that, because it's really distracting me here. The rest of the figure is done well. The head is dual molded, so the sombrero is done with clearly the Keat orange color, the flame orange yellow or yellowish orange color, and then the nougat color, the medium nougat color is used for the rest of the head, with the rest of it just being printed on, the rest of the details. And then the legs are dual molded. They're short legs, so you have no articulation there. They wanted to get them as short as reasonably possible. And the tail is nice. Also in the medium nougat, it is a flexible piece, slightly flexible, but nicely done. I'm glad they didn't just reuse another simple tail piece that looks much more like a proper rodent tail. Tasmanian Devil on the right looks very good to me as well, and does get articulation with the medium legs. There's a little bit of printing just for the toes there. Taz has a high caloric intake, very high metabolism, needs to eat constantly, and thus comes with a couple of food pieces. There's also one other piece that I'll show you that the Tasmanian Devil comes with, or Taz simply as they call him. That is the exact same, what was it, originally a Chima beaver tail piece. I think that was the first time that tail piece was used. It was as the tail of a beaver from the beaver tribe from Chima, if I'm not mistaken. But this is the same piece that's used on Wile E. Coyote, and I think it's perfectly fine here. And I think that the shaping of that head is pretty good. Could have used a little bit more depth for the mouth, but I get it. It kind of looks a little bit 2D there. But hey, the production work is very good. The white for that one is printed thick enough, opaque enough. It's good. You can tell that the teeth are slightly brighter because they're printed against the tan, but the eyes are not bad. So overall, I'm happy with this one. I need to show you again one more thing for that figure on the right. It's this. Yes, to represent the Mayhem, the spinning Mayhem beneath him. And that is a dark azure colored inverted tile, round tile there. So when you put the figure on there, it just, goes right in the center. And then you can actually spin this around on the ground. He will spin kind of like a top. And this piece has been used far too little. It's a fairly recent mold, relatively speaking, relative to most pieces that Lego has, but it's nice to see that printed well there. It's nice to see that piece included again at all, and I think it's appropriate here, although maybe they could have included a Ninjago Spinjitzu spinner instead. A Cyclone Do kind of cone might have been a little bit more appropriate if they could have gotten the right color scheme and or the right print for it. Okay, honestly, he doesn't spin as a top very well. That took me about 1,000 tries to get that. He spins much better off the table or kind of horizontal, like. Let's see if I can get it. There you go. Out of a full set of figures, these are the leftover pieces you'll have between them. So this one comes from Petunia Pig. These two come from Speedy Gonzales. He does come with a total of 4 of those. One of them technically is the spare. This is from Bugs Bunny. All 3 of these come from Wile E. Coyote's anvil. This red piece is a copy of a part that's hidden underneath the seed in the Roadrunner seed bowl. This is a part that came with Tweety Bird, and then this one came with Porky Pig. All told, I think there are more hits here than misses, but there are definitely some misses, and some folks would probably say there are more misses than I personally called out. Do let me know what you think about these, and if you have any personal favorites and least favorites. The comment section is all yours. I think I covered everything that I wanted to on each individual figure. I don't need to go back over that, but just overall, I feel like the body of work here is pretty good, but we need more. You know, they covered a lot of major figures or major characters, but I feel like there are more of them now. Not all of the old characters from Looney Tunes are appropriate by any means to be celebrated today, but there are more that I think are worth doing. I think that it would definitely be worth having another series of these if they can pull that off. Now, speaking of worth, these did cost $5 each in the US, so that is indeed the new normal price. Hopefully these will be discounted as many places as possible, because I really feel like $5 is too much for just a little minifigure, especially when these are not absolute premium quality. You know, if every single part or every single figure had all of its prints being just perfect and completely opaque where they need to be, and if every part that needed to be a 3D piece was indeed 3D instead of being printed in some cases, if they had done more specialized parts where they were needed for legs and for, you know, things like this, if they had done more work and these were truly premium things, I would be okay with them being $5 a piece. But just as they are, generally Lego hasn't improved that much since the days of them being $3 US. You know, we moved to $4. Okay, stop. Moving to $5, I feel is too much. So if we ever go to $6, I'm going to be really unhappy about it unless they vastly improve the quality of these. There we go. That's all I got to say about these. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll talk to you again soon. That's all, folks.